Welcome back to So Much Fun. And today I thought we would talk about how you reinforce a seam. I've had some people this summer want to make like a V-neck top. And when you do that, you need to do some reinforcing right at the point of the V. I even have an example here of a pattern showing sewing that V, but interestingly enough, they don't talk about reinforcing. So that tells me that the pattern doesn't always have all the information that you need, or that we can modify it to make it easier or better. So we're going to go to the sewing machine for me to show you what we do, because you need to have a close-up of the seam itself for us to learn about reinforcing and how we can make that V without getting a big pucker right in the middle. So let's move over to the sewing machine. When we want to reinforce, that really means we're going to have two rows of stitching, one on top of the other. And with a V-neck garment, you don't have to reinforce the entire neckline. You really only need to do about an inch before and an inch after the point of the V-neck. So I'm going to put this under the machine and I'm going to place it right on the marked line and lower my foot so that the mark on the foot is in line with the mark on the facing, and then get my needle down in position. And another thing I would recommend, I know we use 3 for our stitch length, but when it comes to doing this reinforcing, it's a good idea to reduce the length. So I'm going to take it down. First, I'm going to set it at 2.5, not reversing. We're just going to sew forward right on our marked line. Now, some people will say, well, I don't put a mark on my facing when I am doing reinforcing. I'm only doing this so it'll make it easier for you to see in this demonstration. Now that I'm getting closer to the point, I'm going to reduce the stitch length down to, I'm going to take it down to 2.35, do a couple of stitches, and now I'm going to take it down to 2.25. All right, so I'm right at the point. Now the big mistake that people make is they just raise up the foot, turn, and then they want to start going up the other side. That's a mistake. Instead, you want to make a turn, about a 45-degree turn, and do either 1 or 2 stitches. Since it's 2.25, they're going to be short, but that's fine. And then you want to turn again to go up to the other side, and you're going a total of about an inch. And we're not being real specific about that. You know, it can be, and I'm adjusting the stitch length as I go to get it back up to 3. And then I'm just going to cut my thread. So we've done 1 row of stitching. So now we will go back and actually sew the facing to the garment all the way around the neckline. So now we're going to sew our neckline seam 5/8. And I marked this for this demonstration, but I also suggest, because this marking is on the wrong side of your facing, so it's not a bad idea to actually do that, because yours will be interfaced, so that won't show, because it's amazing really how far you go if you want to maintain a 5/8 inch seam, that you go below the marked or the cut V. So I'm going to do a couple of stitches across, and then I'm going to pivot again, go back to my 3 stitch length like I normally do, and sew the rest of it. Thread. Now, if you try to turn this, you're going to see that you're going to have a big old pucker. Because look at the distance. If you maintain 5/8, you're going down really 1 1/4 inches from where that's cut for the V. So if you try to turn that facing in to the inside, you're going to have a problem because it's going to pucker. So what we're going to do, now that we know that, is we're going to take scissors and we're going to cut right down to that point. Right down to there, all right? Just like that. And we're going to check, and we're going to see if we can turn that facing to the inside and see what it looks like. We definitely need to press it, of course. And understitch. If you haven't watched my video on understitching, I recommend that you go back and do that, because understitching also will help to keep this facing in. And so if you notice, if I press this, I'm going to have a nice V there. It definitely needs to be understitched, but I've got a reinforced cut, and so we're not going to have to worry about that fabric fraying out and then ultimately having a hole right there at the point of the V. So the key that you want to remember is that when you come to the V, you don't just, here you can see it there, where you've got 2 stitches going across and then going back up for the rest of your V. So you're not going to make that point. You're going to have those 2 extra stitches, and then that allows that fabric to lay nice and flat. I hope this video was helpful for you when you get ready to do any reinforcing of seams. I plan to do more videos on sewing techniques and garment construction, so I hope you will come back to watch my channel. And don't forget to subscribe and also like, and have so much fun.